Ready for your reading? All right, let's dive in today. As we get started here, just going to welcome you to put your hand on your heart and another one down at the base of your stomach. And just take a nice deep breath in and release your shoulders, release the tension in your jaw, and allow yourself to arrive in this perfect present moment. As we begin this reading, I welcome to this space my higher self and guides, as well as the higher self and guides of the collective for which this message is meant for. We call upon the four elements, the earth that grounds us, the water that flows through us, the fire that moves us, and the air that teaches us. May this message come through with clarity and ease to be remembered in times of need. Today, I'm excited to be joining you from a retired research vessel, and I feel like that has relevance to the reading that we're going to be getting into today, because I think that this message is meant for people who are dreaming of ecstatic lives that feel like they are in motion and feel like they are full of richness and magic. The people who appreciate the stillness and the slowness, but also are looking for the grand adventure. This message is for you if you are a traveling spirit with a incredibly ambitious dream, and you're not I'm not gonna let you believe that that you don't know where you're supposed to be. I think you do know that your next steps, and I think that this reading is confirmation for you of being able to continue on your journey in a way that feels incredibly aligned, because what I'm sensing here in this moment as I'm tapping into the collective is that you do know exactly your next step. You do know exactly what it is that you're wanting to do. And this is all about trusting yourself to be able to take the steps to do it. And then also trusting yourself to be fluid, to allow yourself to accept what is coming to you as like the universe's plan, right? Like the universe is bringing you ripeness. It's bringing you the juiciest parts of life. And it's a reflection of your internal world as well. And so even the difficult things, even the grief and the pain are really, really integral teachers in this moment. And I'm feeling called to celebrate the fact that you've come into recent awareness of just how powerful it is to allow things to flow through you, like your emotions and experiences. And I think that this collective has been opening up their hands a lot and starting to trust instead of trying to like hold on to things for like dear life. Like something that I'm hearing is like really practice releasing all of your muscles in your meditations, and when you are doing your decompression work for the day, if you can like tense up all of your muscles and then relax them and just allow your body to fully receive and open and soften. I think that that's going to help you move through this transition even more, because what I'm picking up on is that this collective is going to be going through a very visible expansion of the lens that is pointed at them. Sometimes spirit just be talking and you're like, the lens that's pointed at us, what do you mean? But let's find out together, shall we? I'm sipping on Tulsi Rose sweet tea, bicycle mug. I hope you have a zesty mug with you as well. All right, let's dive into these cards and see what the message for the collective is today. All right, I'm being called to splitting the deck into 3 piles. So there will be 3 separate readings for this collective, 3 separate pathways that are being taken. The crossroads and how it parts. Oh, interesting. Okay. Okay, let me just lay these out and then I will explain what I'm seeing and move the camera so that you can see it too. We have 3 piles here, 3 pathways. Go ahead and resonate. We have 3 piles here. I am going to hum the frequency of each pile, and you can either choose intuitively off of vision, or if one of the sounds resonates in a certain way that calls to you, then that's how you'll know that this one is your pile. Pile number 2. And pile number 3. Okay. Oh, she obsessed. All right, well, I'll see you in your reading. Starting off here with the Chariot pile, you can see that this individual is on the move. He is running. He's also like running the show, right? This reminds me of that one scene, Emmett from Twilight, when he jumps on the back of the truck while they're like running away from James, and he's just like perched in the back, just kind of like watching everything happen. And there's like the coach driver on the inside of the caravan, and I think that this could be an analogy for kind of like you and the divine, where it's like you're being carried forth and you are aware of what's happening. You're like tapped into your intuition. You're looking at your surroundings, but there's this force that's sort of like mysterious, benevolent, divine, but very active, very present, very much so like kind of like keeping time for you and guiding you in ways. And I think you've noticed this for a really long time, since you were really young, and that this facet of the collective are people who have very bright lights and have experienced really dark personal shadows, and you have found a way to alchemize and utilize both of those things as things that propel you forward, instead of allowing either fear or conformity, like the desire to be perfect, the desire to be like seen as pure or something like that, or like your own shadows. Like neither of those things keep you bound in cycles of self-doubt or self-hate anymore, and now you're able to even use the things that hurt you and that you've been hurt by in the past to keep you on target. And also, like, some of you guys are ruthless. Like, some of you know how to get what the fuck you want. And you've worked really hard to gain those skills, and you have a very unique set of skills that makes you unstoppable. I also see, though, that this is like a comfortable Vardo, you know? Like, yeah, he's Russian, but he's like cozy. He's got his little light set up. He's happy. He's chilling. So, let's see what you guys are. Oh shit, it's about to be the new year reading. Nice. I love that. Of course, that's when I start doing this. So let's talk about what this year was for you. Let's talk about what you're about to step into, where you are right now, what you're moving through in this moment, and where this is headed for you, as well as a clarifier and a surprise. Well, I looked at that surprise, so it has to be a surprise to both of us. And a surprise. Okay. So, once again, I welcome to this space the higher self, ancestors and incarnations and guides of whoever's listening to this video. Welcoming in the energy and essence of clarity and truth. Allowing this message to flow from the deep universal heart. Okay, where you've come from. 6 of Cups this year. This year was like a year of maturity for you. You really stepped into a new version of yourself. I feel like I'm talking to a very masculine collective, like and so know that if you're femme and I say that you feel like a good man, that you can be a beautiful woman and a good man, you know? And so I think that you've stepped into like a new level of your power, a new level of your strength, a new level of kinghood, knighthood as well. Like you found a deeper sense of purpose, and you maybe resolved some patterns from the past that had caused like really, really deep harm. And I think you're also enjoying the fruits of your labor. You know, like there's this guy wearing plaid with his dog, and he's come so far. And this has been a year where all of the little steps that you've taken to become the best version of yourself have started to culminate and pile up. Where before it was like you would have like one sweet fruit in a basket and all of the other fruit were rotten. Now it's like most of the fruit are delicious. And it's because like you pruned the tree and you nurtured it and you turned yourself into a personal banquet. So where this takes you now, moving on into the future, we have the Knight of Wands here. I didn't think I drew a knight card when I said knighthood earlier. There's this concept of like, so one of my mentors, her name is Rain Jubilee, and I'll link her information down below. But she has this program called the Knighthood of the Inner Heart. And essentially it talks about how to develop the tools within your own subconscious mind to access different parts of your own state of being, to live with truth from like the deepest core of who you are. Rain, I hope I said that right. I'm one of her students, and to me what being a knight of the inner heart means is that I live by a certain code. And I think that this is something that you in this collective are going to be able to relate to. Is like, you have a strong sense of justice and a strong sense of intuition and a strong sense of integrity. And so when you're pulled or pushed in a certain direction, you can be thrown into pretty much any situation and you're gonna find a way to dance to your own rhythm, to make the most out of every situation that you're in, and also to continue to authentically like beacon out this like fire. I'm hearing this like really low, like drumming, like humming, kind of like warrior rhythm that's coming from this, right? Even though like she's joyful and like this is a very erotic card, but we'll get into that in a second. But like it's you having fire in your belly and like the ferocity and tenacity to follow it to the very like actualization of whatever it is that you're wanting, which is powerful and cool. And like I said, this is a very erotic card, you know, like you're really connecting with your body in a different way. You could be experiencing a lot of physical changes, and even learning more about like your body science. Like I'm hearing especially about like hormones and like the way that your hormones change and like how to live in alignment with like your body's natural rhythms could be something that would be really beneficial for you. There's also this energy moving forward of impulsiveness and of resisting a gift that's being given to you. Like when I picked it up, it was right side up, but when I place it down, like the card is reversed. And so I think that you might not fully understand or trust yourself. I think you understand yourself, but I don't think you trust yourself. And I say that because the blockage card that you're looking at here is the Nine of Wands on its side. And you can see that this woman is like, don't fuck with me. Like, I got my wall built up over here. I'm on the inside of the wall. I got my torch. I can see you, bitch. I know everything that's going on. I'm being hyper vigilant, and I know what I need and what I don't. Don't fuck with me. And she's also got this kind of like, I don't know if you can see it, but like her facial expression is very like, she knows that she's the shit. And so I think that I don't think that this is entirely a bad thing. Like, I think that it could serve you really well, but you have to know, like, who to allow into the castle and who to, like... And it goes back to something about impulsivity. And patience. And old walls. I think that you don't have to like rush into allowing new people into your heart and into your life. Especially because there are probably some people in your life right now who are like pulling at some intense heartstrings. Like maybe you're meeting new like partners or business partners or people who are like really striking a chord in you. And it's triggering you because you are scared of losing it. And because you have been in this position and then been like cast out and ostracized before. And so there could be like a part of you that's kind of like hiding your light, or could be like not, like I said, not trusting yourself. And I think that this is the crossroads that you're at, because the Ten of Pentacles is kind of in this same like flip-flop, is it reversed, is it not position. And the Ten of Pentacles on it in its upright. I say that because like to you it's upright, but it's just carrying some kind of charge. Like, we'll get into it. Okay, so because it's like the Nine of Wands first, so you also are protecting your family. I think that's just like a little footnote in the reading, is like, hey, allow people to be in and allow them into your intimate spaces and into your heart, and also trust your own strength and power and discernment to let them in at the right amount. But don't be afraid to open your heart to new people. It's totally worth it. These people are going to be with you in the long run. Like, where you're headed, what this next year is going to bring to you, is not nearly as isolated. It's not nearly as like misunderstood. Like, there are people who sing your song. There are people who like eat your food and show up when you call them, you know? And I think that a lot of what's in this imagery in this card is children. And I don't see that as like a fertility thing for you. I see it as like you being able to play and you being able to have fun and to like have friends that make you feel like you're besties again. And like you get to have just like play dates as an adult is what I'm hearing. And then also having very mature relationships and deep loyal ones. Also, the Ten of Pentacles is like the money card, right? And we started this whole thing off talking about how ambitious you are, talking about how relentlessly you're pursuing movement and change. Like, the steps that you're making right now, while they may feel very distant because you're not the same you that you used to be, and you're still becoming kind of familiar with this very foreign version of you. It's almost like you like totally switched timelines. And so now you're like reintegrating these parts of yourself that are allowing you to open up more and more and more and more and more. But this has stability and it has longevity. And the money, that's where I was going with that, is 10 of Pentacles, man. It's success. It's the fruit of all of your labor that you've put in. And so I think that one of the other reasons why you're being encouraged to be more public, right? To like, maybe if you're an artist or a creator, like it's about posting. It's about allowing people to see you instead of like you're keeping your coolest shit locked in the cave, you know? That's really funny. So I think that the other thing that you might not see coming this year is community in unexpected ways. And I think that community might come to you through digital resources, through fast-moving, strange circumstances, through social networking. So it's like, find ways to put yourself out there in ways that feel safe and aligned for you. Because there are people who are going to want to collaborate with you this year. And you're not going to have to change your lifestyle in order to be seen and heard and supported by the people who love you. Your surprise, your gift, if you will, the 8 of Pentacles. You know that, like, deep dive, complete flow state, fully stocked fridge, nothing to do but get into the freaking zone and do the thing that you love to do moment that you've been working so hard for, working your ass off for? You're about to get that. And you might be surprised at how quickly you can monetize your life in a way that is more fulfilling for you. This 8 of Pentacles here says that, like, if you're looking for a new job in a more, in a field that gives you more creativity, more flow, more fluidity, and also will sustain, like, all of the supplies for your craft and your life and your home and your job and your dog, you know, like, whatever it is that you're needing to make sure that you have, like, financially supported, like, you're going to continue to have good jobs. They're going to continue to find their way to you, and they're going to continue to ask. I'm hearing, like, they're going to ask less of you so that you can give the universe what it's asking of you. But you have to be, like, the thing that's blocking you from being able to live this, like, dream career that you want is that you feel like you're not worthy of being seen. Is that there's still those, like, subconscious parts of, like, the little kid in you that was really hurt by some people and, like, the things that they did, that doesn't trust themselves to be that visible, that doesn't trust themselves to, like, hold that level of attention. And that is, like, the one kernel that is going to open up this abundance flow that you've been feeling coming to you for a long time. It's the inner world, right? Because, like, our inner, I'm literally sitting next to a book called, it's called The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. I was gifted it by an incredible woman, Taylor Lee Andorfer, look her up. Anyway, but it basically talks about, like, the mindset hacks of being able to handle more money. Because money, it flows based on how much capacity and value a person is creating and is able to receive. How much capacity they're able to receive and how much value they're also adding back into the collective. And I feel like this collective adds a shit ton of value, but their internal capacity is not up to date with how much they deserve. And so when we're looking at this energy of Knight of Wands, 10 of Pentacles, like 9 of Wands, it's like, break down the mental barriers that are repeating in your mind. And it doesn't have to be so, like, it's just like, become conscious of the voice that is keeping you small and kind of explore from there. And do it with, like, a lot of compassion. But the surprise is that you're going to get a more creative job. A job that gives you more time to be very, very creative. And yeah, Congratulations. Well, this was fun. Deep message. We'll pull the last card for you. The last card for you. This is your curveball for 2025. Ooh, the Five of Swords. He's already at... Sometimes the cards just repeat themselves because it's like, hey, you need to listen to this part. Maybe if you have resistance to anything that I'm saying about like this mindset stuff, specifically the mindset stuff, like if your body is feeling like kind of like aggravated by it or like friction, I think that generally is like an indicator that there's something deeper to dig into there, right? And I'm not going to tell you how to feel or what to feel or why you're feeling that certain type of way, but what this card says, like your curveball, you're going to make the most progress by leaning into the areas that you are resisting the most to, especially when it comes to your mental health and your mental well-being. Like those voices, those forces, look them dead in the face and in with yourself, to that part of yourself that you're afraid of. Look in the mirror and say like, and sit there until you see all of you, right? Like allow yourself to see the shadow part of your face. Allow yourself to see the divine creator that is inside of your body. And then like when you feel like you're able to witness all of you, this is some pretty deep magical work. So definitely like, do this with your own, if you're prepared. Like not everybody wants to do mirror work, but I feel like y'all are ready. And so look yourself in the mirror, allow all of your faces to reveal themselves. And then the one that you fear or the one that you resist, ask, what gift do you have for me? And then just listen. And maybe your mind doesn't work like that and it won't respond exactly right away, but something will happen over the course of the next few days that will answer the question of like, what does this fear that you're holding on to that's keeping you small, what gift is it actually bringing you, and how can you integrate it so that you can move forward and stay on the abundant timeline that you're meant to stay on instead of self-sabotaging yourself and derailing the progress that you worked so hard to receive. Woo! Thank you so much for being here for this reading. I am sending you lots of love and gratitude, and I am really seeing here like just how far you're willing to go to achieve the dreams that are begging to be incarnated through you. And that's just a really beautiful thing. And so if there's one thing to take away from this reading, it's that your art and your craft are important. And this year there are going to be people who want to collaborate with you, want to play with you, want to uplift you, want to support you, want to nurture you. And when the soft animal inside of you that remembers how much it hurt to be left behind before whimpers at the thought of letting people in, just give them a little pat on the head and say, it's okay. We made it before, and it's not going to happen the same way again. And you deserve to be loved, and you deserve to be seen, and you deserve community that truly gets what you bring to the scene. Oh, okay, I'm out. All right, hello, pile 2. Today we are looking at the Queen of Pentacles. She is initially in this reverse position. We'll talk about that in a moment. But she's one of my favorite cards in this deck. I'm using the Light Seers Tarot. This is the one that I use at Renaissance festivals. I've read for thousands of people with this deck. And so she just is one of those ones where you're just like, oh girl, you're stepping into your silks, aren't you? I think that to talk about the Queen of Pentacles, we first have to start by talking about abundance and talking about scarcity. And I think that the Queen of Pentacles collective that I'm talking to right now has experienced incredible scarcity in their lives. Like, there were times when the freezer was completely empty. There were times when you felt like you had to sacrifice, like, joy in order to live and hustle. There were people who were supposed to nourish you that left, and, like, they were really, really close to you. And I feel like there's definitely even some, like, mother wound kind of energy coming up in this reading, where you might be feeling like the projects that you had put your soul into left, like they ran away. Like, maybe it's, for some of you, it might be a literal child, like you're struggling with your relationship to your kid. And for some of you, it might be like your project or your business endeavors didn't end up, like, working out, and you're a very creative person. Like, you nurture so many people, you bring so much stuff to life, and it's like everywhere else around you, all of these awesome things happen, and then you go into, like, the most intimate space of your creation, and it feels like the soil has been salted, and you're like, what is going on here, and why am I going through that? And so I think that that's just, like, kind of the preface for the reading that we're starting here. So we'll see what this year was for you, what you're moving through right now, what your blockage is, where you're stepping in the near future, and a surprise. Okay. So, where you're coming out of this year for you was the 9 of Cups. You made a ton of really awesome friends. People who made your soul sparkle and your heart sing. People who made you feel like community. You probably, like, up-leveled in your business. You probably received a lot of gifts, and people really understood you on a deeper level. It was almost like you had this well of magic that was, like, building up and bubbling up and bubbling up inside of you, but, like, you weren't connected to the people who understood it. And then there were all of these, like bowls, and you were just like honey mead that was just, like, beautifully distilled into this magical, potent, strong, beautiful hearted individual who had been, like, almost, like, locked away, or, like, not seen, or, like, in a cave or something. And so you had so much love to give and to share with the world, and it really helped you, like, just open up and receive and feel, like, such an abundance of connection and of community. And so where that's leaving you right now, like, what you're moving through in this moment, little Ace of Pentacles action, little new beginning with the job. Maybe you're looking for a new house. Maybe you are trying to figure out where it is that you're literally going to live. And I think that that's where we go back into scarcity and abundance, because let me tell you a little story about myself. So I started traveling in 2021. And I had this dream where I, like, wanted to travel across the country and, like, live out of my van and go to the national parks and, like, be a little vagabond. And I had been wanting to do that since I was, like, 8 years old. And I had kept stopping myself from doing that because, you know, like, how are you gonna eat if you're a vagabond in the forest? You'd be surprised. Honestly, that's where this story is going. I also know and along the way, right, I meet a bunch of travelers. And one thing that I can tell you about people who trust their intuition enough to go on the road instead of staying in the mundane world. Some people call it Babylon, some people call it the Matrix, some people call it corporate America, some people call it the rat race, whatever you want to call it, you know? The people who have stepped forward and just been like, I'm going. Like, I don't know what's going to happen, but we're going to go. Always get to where they're trying to go. Like, maybe you have a delay. Maybe some things take you down a detour you were not expecting. But you always are protected. Like, there are protectors of the road. There are protectors of the path. And you are not going to be out in the cold during this transition that you're going through. Like, you are very, very, very guided. I'm hearing by your fetch, and a fetch is I don't I don't want to, like, try to be historically quoting things here, but it was introduced to me through, like runes and sort of, like, satyr magic and practices that would have been originated in, like, Norse culture with Freya and things like that. And your fetch, essentially, from my understanding of it, is, like, if you're a feminine person, it's your divine masculine counterpart of yourself that protects you in spirit. Or if you're a masculine, then it's your feminine aspect that protects you in spirit. And so, like, you are not working on the project and the problem that you're solving alone. And there are very present, very familiar, very easy to access guides that are going to help you through this financial and physical change that you're experiencing. And one way that you can work with that energy is, like, connecting with the energy of Mars, like looking into your zodiac chart and seeing what your Mars placement is, and then how do you, like, lean deeper into acting in a way that enacts your will. Because the reason why I'm bringing up the masculine specifically is because your challenge is the King of Pentacles, but you're being represented by the Queen of Pentacles. But you're really rattled by this. Like, you are usually a person who is, like, wide open, heart to the sky, like, deep faith person, but, like, whatever's happening in this new beginning for you has got you a little bit, like, wobbly. You're like, are we going to make it? Is it going to be okay? Where am I going to end up? Who do I trust? And I think that I'm encouraging you to connect with more parts of your spirit, because even in the silence and even in the uncertainty, you will feel their presence. So lean into working with your own divine masculine energy. Also, like, some of that, like, there could also be, there could be, like, your intuition is not wrong about this upcoming season. You know, like, I'm not saying that you're gonna be in a place of scarcity at all. I think you're gonna be very, very well supported and guided, but I do think that, like, everything is going to shift, and that some of the roots that you were wondering if they were going to be able to stick, specifically in your housing situation, are going to be the things that, like, wither. And I see this from, like, a gardener's perspective. Like, you know when a plant has been compromised, and you know when it's just gonna have, like, a weak yield. And also sometimes it's things that are outside of your control, which is, this is your future card. It's things that are outside of your control that are the reason why this crop that you're harvesting isn't as abundant as you're wanting it to be. I'm also hearing that it isn't even that it's compromised, it's that it's young. Like, the fruit that you're trying to pick is the first season of apples from a tree. Like, it's the first time that it fruited. Like, you've been watering it forever, and now you're starting to get the fruits, and you're like, oh my gosh, I want sweet, juicy apples from my organic tree that I grew in my house with my own hands. And, like, you're gonna get that, right? But right now, you're getting the first batch. And the first batch is not the juiciest. Is not the juiciest of the apples. That being said, that doesn't mean that you're doing any of this wrong. It doesn't mean that you're not exactly where you're supposed to be. You are. You just are, like, so used to looking at, like, the top of the mountain and imagining, like, what the top of the mountain feels like, because your intuition is so strong and you're quantum jumping and pulling yourself there really fast, and that is happening. But, like, there's a part of your balance, of your equilibrium between your feelings of safety and freedom that are kind of wibbly wobbly, a little bit scary, a little bit uncertain. And it's because you just, like, don't have enough data. And it's okay, because where you're gonna go this year, freaking Wheel of Fortune here, blessings you could not have predicted. Blessings that, like, speed up your progress so much that it is ridiculous. It reminds me of, like, I've been using this analogy today of what it's like to build a house. Like, I've never built a house. My dad was a carpenter. But like, I would imagine that when I think of a construction project, like, the longest part is setting the foundation and building up the frames of the walls and laying out the floor and, like, making sure that it's right and that the angles are going to hold and that you have to do it this way and, like, all of the planning is the part that takes the longest, and then it's all of the framing, all of the structure, and then after that, like, you know, the rest of it goes together pretty fast, and then it's done. And then from there, like, you're able to decorate it. You're able to explore and expand inside of the space. But it takes a while to build up the house first in order for you to be able to move in. And so know that the house that you're going to be in, I think that's where the surprise is coming from. Like, I did say that we pulled a surprise. Ooh, your surprise? Temperance. Immediately, I got a really spicy energy off of this card. I think King of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles, Temperance. The rest of this is all about business, but I just, in my bones, I feel like this is about divine union. This is one of my favorite relationship cards because it represents, like, a willingness to understand and work together. Like, you and your partner are so solid through this change, through the things that are going to be thrown at you, that it is going to be like a very cosmic, transformative thing. And you could also be receiving an opportunity from a person who looks weirdly like an angel. Like, that's kind of like one of the weird messages that's coming through. But there might be somebody who just shows up right at the right time, in the right place, in the right, with the right opportunity, and is just like, hey. And you know when you look at those people and they're just like, wow, you glow. You are so beautiful. Like, whoa, you have such a spirit to you. You're going to meet one of those type of people, and they're going to speed things up. I think that if you're working on growing your following, you can expect returns on that investment. And I would say to you in that moment, if you were to go viral in this moment, is the back end of your business prepared to handle the influx of people that you're calling in? Like, just take the right steps to get what you want. Like, don't try to rush yourself. You are exactly where you need to be. You're gonna get all of the things that you've been calling in because you're not the only one who benefits from you having them, right? Like, you having a platform, you having a voice, you having financial stability, security, and success so that you don't have to be worried about going to the grocery store and buying the groceries that you want. Like, you can just be in a high vibrational state. Like, you are going to make the world so much a better place by the way that you treat your, I'm hearing fame, that it's going to continue to find ways to find you. Be patient. It's going to happen. I don't know how. Probably through sex magic, if we're being real. But anyway, that's a whole different reading. You can book me for a private one if you want to talk about it, because that is something that I study and something I would love to talk about. So, I love you, Pile 2. Have fun on your endeavor, on your journey. Remember, you are abundance. You have an abundant heart. Call on your divine counterpart within, and trust the relationships that you have on the outside to guide you to the right housing and job position, because the soil has not been salted. It was just a cold season. And yeah, thank you so much. Hello, Pile 3, my Queen of Wands collective here. You can see that this woman is joyful. She is joyful out loud. She is sharing her passions from her place of comfort. She's sitting on this cushy little stool here. She's got the beautiful sunset behind her, and she's surrounded by candles. Each one of those candles was a light that she lit and didn't lose anything from sharing that part of herself. I feel like this collective is starting to step more into their sacred, feminine, untamable, pleasure-seeking energy. I'm getting like Catwoman vibes. in a way of, like, she's kind of morally gray, you know, like, they have that, like, will they, won't they sort of thing, but also, like, she goes after the things that she wants, right? Like, she isn't bound by if it's right or if it's wrong. Instead, she's kind of leaning into her own desires. And I feel like you're kind of maybe stepping into more of this, like, femme power energy, where it could be like you could be feeling really influenced by Lilith. I'm also saying all of this because there's, like, a beautiful spider that is making a web in the rain on the window of this boat that I'm on right now. And it's just mesmerizing. And I think that this kind of represents you as well, you know, like, you are a person who is resilient, who continues to relight their own flame and find new ways to create comfort. And you also are so, like, in tune with your body, right? Like, I feel like you've gone through a huge transformation where now you love looking in the mirror and you love putting on your, like, little, whatever it is for you. Like, so for some people it's, like, their lipstick, for some people it's their shawl or their beads or their whatever, you know, like, whatever it is that makes you feel like you're adorning yourself. And you're taking more of those little moments of pleasure, and they're starting to really show in your aura, because there's something to be said about somebody who is so tuned in to their self-expression. Like, it's magnetic. You just kind of pull in opportunities. I'm hearing that, like, you're a muse, like, you're someone who people are inspired to create other art by. So we're gonna look at the year ahead for you. Cool. This is what you're going through, like, what you just left behind, what you're going through right now, the future card position, your challenge, and a surprise that neither of us know what it is. Okay. So this year for you, you began a lot of new projects. Some of them stuck, some of them didn't, some of them were fun, some of them you never want to do ever again. And that's totally cool. So this is a celebration of your ability to be brave and to follow your heart and your passion and to really just, like, accelerate throwing things to the wind. I feel like you really are solid in this identity, and so I don't even really need to elaborate a lot, because you notice the difference just as much as everyone else does. Though I see, like, the universe is seeing you as the Queen of Wands, and you might still be seeing yourself as the Page of Wands. So this is kind of an invitation to, like, say, you get to claim your queendom whenever you want. Like, you don't have to wait for other people to see how extraordinary you are. And if you find that you're looking for validation, usually it's your internal world, your internal reality, responding to a past experience that's being triggered by a present moment. So, like, the people in your life see you as the Queen of Wands, but you weren't always understood, and you're used to being kind of like, what's the word for that? Like shy, like reserved, like the true definition of the word demure. And so now that you're, like, starting to express all of this fire and all of this passion within, you might be, like, ruffling some feathers. And so this year could have also been an initiation for you to believe that the things that you've discovered about yourself are really important, and that they're worth continuing to feed the flame of and, like, really lean into. So where this goes next, the Queen of, what you're stepping into right now, the High Priestess. Downloads, baby. So many downloads. Like, there's synchronicities, there's alignments, the prophetic dreams are happening, the desire to dive into esoteric studies, the accidentally stumbling into the witch store, like, whatever it is that you're doing that's, like, allowing your own spirit to move through you, the communing with the earth. Oh my gosh, please be spending time outside. I know that it's cold, but it's worth it. The cold air is good for you. Go for a walk, touch the trees, look at the moon. You know, like, there is something that is so much greater than you, that you are so deeply tapped into, and it is through your body, through your heart, through your eyes, your ears, your mouth, your senses, that this divinity is able to express and explore itself. So, in a way that promotes longevity and happiness and health for you, allow yourself to indulge in whatever it is that makes you feel the most connected to your deepest joy. Because it's from that place that all of these questions you have about who you're supposed to be and where you're supposed to go and what you're supposed to do next are going to melt away, because it doesn't actually, like, planning, like, this is kind of a hard thing to say, but, like, I'm hearing stop wasting your time trying to predict what's going to happen and just be present and respond to what you're being offered. Because you are an extremely powerful priestess. And also, you don't have to force it. You get to just allow the magic to be present, to make itself known, and to willingly embrace a certain level of surrender. Everybody in these cards has their eyes closed. And I really encourage you to start a practice of closing your eyes more. Whether that's closing your eyes and listening to feel the environment around you, or closing your eyes when you're trying to speak from your heart, closing your eyes, even in your videos, if you're making videos, like, allow yourself to go inward and express from that place of connection and connectivity. Because all of the fog will kind of slip away when you allow yourself to do that. Your future, or the blockage that you're working through right now, is the Queen of Cups on her side. So that's why I bring up this, like, surrender sort of thing. Like, you're dancing the line between surrender and learned helplessness. And, like, willing submission to that which is greater and, like, the divine and your own magic, and also, like, reckless abandon of intention. And I don't know, I am just trusting what the channel says here. So this says, like, don't ignore the intuitive hits that you've been getting about what is right for you and your body and your spirit and your direction and your path and your purpose. And also, don't try so hard to, like, force things to be a certain way that you want them to be. Just let them flow as they are. And I think you'll be surprised and excited. Because what this year looks like for you, Eight of Swords, you're still healing from a lot of mental clutter. And there's a lot of things that your spirit incarnated in this timeline to unpack and unravel. And so, the more that you can become comfortable with shadow work, with the uncomfortable feelings, with grief and anger and fear, and you can move through them with trust, right? Like, she's not actually bound. Like, she's holding her heart, but in this vision of herself, like, she feels like she's bound. But, like, it's returning to your breath. You know, those times when you feel like you're being constricted. Allow yourself to open up and soften and take up space with your body by allowing it to fully expand, and put your hand on your heart and feel your heartbeat and feel it move and feel the connection to, like, the drum of the earth. And this year is really all about, like, getting out of your head and getting into your body, because you have some really powerful, fun, sexy magic to offer the world. And you're surprised this year, you're going to have more than enough time to study all of the things that you want. And if you have been wanting to travel long distance, maybe even to a different country to study some sort of esoteric art, that is absolutely available to you and is on its way as soon as you're in alignment and vibrational frequency. So it when I picked it up, it moved the Queen of Cups into an upright position instead of on its side. So it's like you already know the next steps to do, and to continue to be doing those breathwork practices, those deep release practices that allow you to open up your channel even further, because you are a spiritual lioness and you are here to transmute some very complicated ideas. And so allow your body's wisdom to help you learn and guide you to the teachers across the planet that are going to help you truly unravel this knot that you've been picking at for lifetimes. Boom. Okay, Queen of Wands. All right, I love that. Well, thank you so much for being here. And if there's anything that I can do for you personally, I offer readings and mentorship, and I will link all of my things down below. And I would love to talk to you and just hear how this reading resonated for you. So if there was something that struck a chord, feel free to leave it in the comments, and I will see you soon. Thank you.